He chose at that point to pursue it in the same manner as if an airplane would have had the same problems. And as soon as he stepped out of the car on the site of the crash, the inhabitants of Varginha, Brazil, witnessed a UFO incident in 1996 that would permanently alter their way of life. This episode includes a shocking alien encounter and the subsequent attempts for a cover-up by the military. One senator has spoken out and said that there is even still classified material and very compelling evidence yet to be released to the public, in spite of official government denials that anything extraordinary had happened. The so-called Varginha Incident made international headlines in 1996 and generated a media frenzy in Brazil. It has been dubbed Brazil's Roswell, pointing to the similarity of events of the now infamous UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. Several people saw a UFO crash near the Brazilian city of Varginha in January 1996. The local fire department later took control, followed by the Brazilian army. In the days that followed, witnesses saw extraterrestrial creatures fleeing as they are pursued and even shot at by the military. One of the beings was discovered dead and was brought to the nearby hospital for an autopsy before being sent elsewhere. The rest of the globe would see Brazilian TV broadcasts on the Varginha case. A scientist who has allegedly conducted an autopsy of the aliens claims in a conference in May 1997 that he would be able to talk on the issue more openly in a few years. Involvement of military and extraterrestrial captivity was confirmed in June 1997 by 15 witnesses. Another eyewitness claims that he was given money to remain quiet. It continues to be one of the most well-known UFO incidents in the nation and gave rise to a surge of UFO tourism to Varginha, where many people continue to maintain that the Brazilian military caught two extraterrestrial creatures and intimidated citizens to stay silent. The government has a tendency to cover up everything they can't explain to their population, says General José Carlos Pereira, a former member of the Brazilian Air Force, to James Fox, the director and producer in the new documentary called Moment of Contact. Locals in Varginha claimed to have witnessed a weird, cigar-shaped object the size of a school bus slowly fall from the sky and crash on a field in January in 1996. Carlos de Souza allegedly saw the crash. He said that it was drifting and gradually losing altitude. Its movements was likened to a washing machine, battling to maintain its height. It had a side that was entirely split off and was emitting white smoke, not like the black smoke that a regular fire would produce. He chose at that point to pursue it in the same manner as if an airplane would have had the same problems. And as soon as he stepped out of the car on the site of the crash, he could smell ammonia, which reminded him of rotten eggs, an extremely potent odor, so overpowering that he had to cover his nose with the shirt. It also made his eyes wet. It was something completely different from what he was anticipating. He stated that the scent was the first reason, adding that the whole thing was very strange. He noticed a portion that appeared to be made out of aluminium and grabbed a sheet, just a tiny bit since it was so light. When he let go of it after crumpling it, it returned instantly to its earlier form. However, Mr. De Souza claimed that within minutes military trucks from the near army base 30 miles from Varginha appeared and told him to leave while threatening him with their weapons. Residents of Varginha were shocked when, shortly after, a strong military force surrounded the city, quarantined many of the streets, and forbade anybody from entering. On January 20, 1996, at 3:30 p.m., a group of girls ages 14 to 21, who claimed to have encountered a strange creature in broad daylight, also made its headlines. The entity was only 8 feet away when they first noticed it. The creature was described as being around 4 feet tall, 120 centimeters, with dark greasy skin, V-shaped feet, and a massive head. It also had very large red eyes. It was hunched close to a wall by a cluster of weeds in a deserted, grass-covered lot. They noticed the being as they glanced and could tell it was scared by the sight in its eyes. They weren't the only ones who were terrified, the thing was as well. So there was a fear-for-fear exchange. It had oily skin, red eyes, and they couldn't make out an open mouth, and was hairless. As soon as they locked eyes, it started to flee. Because it was an extremely hot day, it appeared to be suffering from the heat, since the sun was too scorching for its skin. What we saw wasn't human, they said. The Brazilian military claimed in 2010 that the girls had indeed come upon a mentally disturbed, homeless guy known as Muddy No, who was smeared in muck. It wasn't an animal, she added. Today, I do believe it to have been a creature from another world. It wasn't a man, it wasn't an animal, one of the other girls concurred. The being allegedly rushed in front of 2 military police officers' car 3 hours after the purported encounter, as they were traveling along a road next to the empty lot. One of the cops, Marco Sheares, barehandedly caught the creature and brought it to a nearby hospital. He claimed that once he had successfully trapped the strange being, he had developed an unpleasant odor and felt strangely greasy and sticky all over his body. He became sick, with an illness that wouldn't go away, and for 2 to 3 weeks it grew worse and worse until it eventually killed him. An interview with an unnamed whistleblower, known only as Military X, who claims to have been involved in moving a creature's body from Humanitas Hospital in Varginha to the near army base, serves as the new documentary's focal point. He replied, "I saw a box on a stainless steel table. There were medical professionals and analysts with clipboards. They all appeared to be afraid of it. And as I turned to look, I noticed something new. A strange animal with skin that was incredibly oily, and it appeared silicone-like. When I saw it, I was alarmed." Military X informed James Fox that there was definitely footage in the government's hands, and that one of the soldiers there had a film camera. "It was especially the foot of the creature that got my interest," he remarked. "It was virtually the size of 2 fingers, and V-shaped. The foot was what convinced me that it wasn't a normal person." The beings and crash wreckage were taken by operatives from the United States of America, according to local military and civilian witnesses. When questioned about rumors about a purported 35-second video of the creature, Fox responded, "I have personally spoken to 3 witnesses in Brazil that claim to have seen photographic proof, both videos and stills." When asked if the Varginha case will be included in the next UFO report to Congress, Fox responded, "Only in the background. I've been told that Capitol Hill has already seen this video." Since the stigma around UFO sightings has lifted in later years, hopefully, we will see more information being released to the public. James Fox also says that he has spoken to Bill Nelson, the head of NASA, and he made some startling statements regarding the UFO phenomenon. He says that these things are real, we do not know what they are, and we should find out. Bill also said to the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that when he was a senator, he was debriefed with classified information. Even NASA does not have access to this information. Senator Harry Reid, the former Senate Majority Leader, has said that the information and videos that have recently been released is only the tip of the iceberg. The still classified material is the most compelling evidence yet to be released to the public.